Welcome to Devstream 27. We are joined by the usual suspects and a not so usual one who may have a Switch teleport later, but we'll see about that. This is our 27th Devstream. I'm DE Rebecca, here with
Scott.
Steve, hello.
Jeff.
Pat. What brings you to the stream today?
I would like to give a PS4 update to our hungry fans.
Excellent, thank you. Before that, 2 pieces of housekeeping. The first one is, and I'm making Dean pan, I'm so sorry. First piece of housekeeping. 3 1,000 platinum prizes throughout the stream, so stay tuned, and we will be doing a 24-hour alert after the stream. But before any of that, talk to us, Pat.
All right, U13
on PS4.
is coming to PS4 very, very soon. We are going to go into cert probably Monday, Tuesday-ish.
That's awesome.
At the latest. It's basically 13.0.7.1.
This is true.
And we've also brought over some of the recent Dark Sector changes as well
Right.
to please the fans. I'm really excited because we have a lot of goodies in this one for the PS4 users.
Now, you did leave a comment or a blog entry itself saying that you, and one of our users, the Mustache, says, what did you mean about surprises tailored for PS4?
Well, it's time to spill the beans because we're close.
You can spill those beans.
So, number one, just a little bit of icing on the cake. We're going to do a PS4 exclusive color picker.
Excellent.
Our poor friends on PS4 didn't get the Shamrock color picker or Easter, so you are getting your own exclusive color picker. Boom! Yes.
Excellent.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes. Surprise number 2. We've updated the companion app to match our Warframe Nexus app, so
Excellent.
it's going to have the alerts as usual, and the cool codex entries and
Excellent.
all that. And I think down the road, we
Down
might
the
get a
road,
little more
around the
aggressive with what we do. Down the road. I'm not doing around the corner. It's down the road.
That's the new.
This one, if this doesn't please people, I don't know what will. I'm seeing so many posts about this. Remote play.
Excellent.
PlayStation Vita. I'm at Steve's house. He is watching
Great.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman reruns, but I want to play Warframe, so I'm playing on my Vita. The bindings stink.
Yes.
Guess what? You can customize all your bindings now.
Fully
Everything.
customizable.
Fully customizable remote play bindings.
awesome.
So I didn't think remote play was that popular, but it is popular, and
Fantastic.
apparently our layout isn't the best, so make your own.
All right.
What about performance?
Performance. Yes.
That's all great,
That's
but let's
honestly,
get to the heart.
I see the thread posts. I
1,000 FPS.
feel your pain.
Yep.
It's super number 1 on my list always, and we've done some universal changes that both benefit PS4 and PC. Some zone calling changes.
They don't have the zone calling stuff yet. Which
No,
they will.
U13. Yes.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Super
Huge
awesome.
difference. Yep.
We're
We
picking
fixed some
out.
stuff with the transmissions last night.
Yes.
With what Jeff found.
So which,
Not you, the other
Yes.
Jeff.
Yep.
which would be anytime a 3D transmission comes up.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that took quite the poke. So
Yep.
changing lighting,
Fixing lighting problems that were
optimizing assets.
Yep.
We're going to town, and we have
our team is really working hard on that.
Yeah, we have a dedicated team for perf now, and that's my ding ding ding, ring the bell. I'm poking Steve, I'm poking everyone,
Yep.
and it's going to continue to improve every update.
Quit poking everyone.
Yeah. And earlier today,
Should be tickling them more.
Tickling. Less poking, more tickling. More tickle.
already.
Tickle me Elmo, is that how you activate Elmo?
Who's the guy on the left? You should reiterate.
Pat is here. Pat, who are you?
I am associate producer here at DE. My main task, goal, everything is PS4. PS4 and perf, and
With the PS4
a little bit of UI, but Pablo and Dorian handle that because they're animals. So.
Yep.
Excellent. And that's who you are, that's what you have to say. And earlier today, one of our streamers was saying, let's vibe about the whole if you die, your frame rate resets. So
Yes.
are you looking into that as well?
We actually are.
Okay.
It's funny, we threw that in an email right away, and there's already like 5 responses. We got Glenn responding, we got Steve responding,
Excellent.
Jeff, Elliot. It's
Yeah, not this
it's
Jeff,
not this
though.
Jeff.
He's
not this Jeff,
Classic.
programmer Jeff. Yes.
too many Jeffs.
Just programming is.
Not-
Programming is pretty weak these days.
It is really
Out of practice.
a little bit.
But do you have more for me?
I have a few. Well, the questions that came from the Mustache and Juicington, what are the differences going to be on the PS4 Update 13?
Aside from the unique PS4 goodies like the color picker,
Yeah.
remote play, customization, and the
Yeah.
app, it's one and the same
Yeah.
as U13.
And the questions-
0.0, 0.7, 0.1.
Exactly, and plus the handpicked dark
And plus
sector
the
stuff.
Dark Sector stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially the big questions are what is the PS4 specific fixes and stuff coming. You've addressed performance, and a lot of the PS4 questions are about the general state of the game. So in terms of specific things about performance, thank you for speaking to those, and we'll summarize those in the stream
and
after.
please, like PC team, we read the forums. Please post on the forums. After you get an update, we go through all of that and try to pick out the biggest things and fix them right off the hop. And with CERT, we can't hot fix as quick as PC, but we'll keep trying.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know if I'm throwing you a sideball here, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah,
'cause-
Sideball.
Sideball.
Curveball? I don't know.
Sideball.
You're wearing the baseball jersey, not me.
Yeah.
Should I tickle?
Strike one. Strike one.
Really?
As long as it's not tickled, we're
So my curveball
Yes.
is migration. Dead
Migration.
on arrival still, or is it still?
Boy,
just-
oh boy. This is.
Oh, I actually don't know where this is lately.
is this a
Yeah.
sideball?
This is
This
sideball.
is a sideball.
It's like many things. PS4 Warframe is ahead of the game with this stuff, and we are working with Sony to determine policies. This is a bigger picture. We have to go through SEA, SEE, SEJ, SEI, and they all have to agree on the terms for migration. And I think that's all I can say to that. But
Yeah, we have the technology. It's just
our Sony team is amazing, and the communications are back and forth daily. We actually have them visiting in a few weeks to discuss
come
more.
on the stream.
Yes. Oh, we wouldn't do
That would
that.
be fantastic.
They can do some sideballs.
Yeah, let's not sideball Sony. Let's keep them in our good books.
Oh well.
Always ongoing discussions, and
Great.
But from our perspective, we're pushing that
We're
agenda.
pushing the
We
envelope.
want that. We've got everything set up to
Yeah.
do it. It's just a question of policies,
legal
and
and
the legals
policies.
and the lawyers and all that
and
stuff.
you know what? But like
And
I
multiple parts of Sony across the world.
Yes, Sony
They
has-
all have to agree.
said, yes, we're dealing with 4 territories,
Yep.
not just one. There's different laws in different countries, so we
Last
have
I
to-
heard, though, it sounded like it was kind of advancing, but we can't really
we
say
are
anything yet.
pretty far.
It's around the corner, wouldn't you say?
Oh, okay.
It's not down the road. It's
not
not
down the
quite
road.
around the corner.
Okay.
It's a block away
All right.
Walk away.
on rollerblades.
Okay, now that the analogies have gone off the path,
Cool.
switch teleport. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
if
being
you
here,
want,
Pat.
I need to get the build out, so
Yeah, you
I'm
need
going
to
to
go
switch teleport
work,
with
so-
Sheldon, and I'm going to
Go
take
fix
this.
that performance
Yeah.
too while you're gone.
I'm going to hit the. I
Is
just
that
have to hit the
Electro or
performance button.
Yeah.
Scolia? What?
This is. Why did you? You gave me the claw.
This is some guy off the street, right? Thanks, buddy.
So we convince people we have a PS4 team. We just bring randoms off.
Some guy at the
Some Jays fan. That's why I said
Jay shirt, he's
sideball,
walking
or
by, we're
it's
like, here, take a Warframe hat, just hop in, tell him all about the PS4, it's fine.
It's just Dave's brother.
Yeah,
or
it's Dave's brother, it's
yeah.
cool.
Dave's brother.
Jeff's awkward now. He doesn't know how to respond to that.
Oh,
joke.
no mic? Oh, really? Do you want to step talking to the bicep?
All right. We're gonna do platinum, right?
Work on your biceps.
Okay.
Careful, Jeff.
We're gonna need Pat to come back with a Nerf gun to shoot you guys. We're gonna do a platinum giveaway right now for 1,000 platinum for someone watching logged in. You don't need to be able to chat. You just need to have a logged in Twitch account, and you're eligible to win. So the winner is going to be some magical viewer with a Twitch account by the name of DL Grave. I think that's a lowercase L. Yes, DL Grave. You've won 1,000 platinum. Message our Twitch page that you're watching on right now.
Oh, I don't have the...
You don't
Yeah, where is that?
All right, shit.
don't get it.
You definitely get it.
Yeah,
Okay. I can do the other 3 right now before you can get it. No, you want 1,000 platinum. Message our Twitch page.
Whoa, the chat's
PSN
going a
ID,
little crazy.
PC alias, chat has gone.
Expendables.
DEFCON, insert highest DEFCON here. Which I
It kind of reminds me of when you go to like a trade show and you're like, talking about your game or your video card or whatever, and then you go, "Who wants free stuff?" and everyone's just, and then after you throw it, there's like silence again.
I'm going to more free stuff soon.
Such is the way. Oh yeah, anytime you do like a giveaway on stage or something.
Yeah, you're a little behind. It's cool.
Side balls.
Side balls.
Before I,
Balls.
Side
The
ball.
ball. It's a side balls.
I'm gonna be as comfortable as you today.
This spot's amazing. Wow.
First question on everyone's mind. Probably been asking it since stream 1. Smokey.
Well, hold on.
What?
Yeah.
We just had a major update.
Yeah.
I know, but this is more important than the major update. When is
talked about
Trinity's
it.
skirt getting cloth physics?
Oh, jeez.
This is more important.
When is her skirt getting hot fixed?
Clot physics.
Oh,
Clot physics.
hot physics.
It's harder on the Gen 1 frames, just the way they were modeled.
Fix.
Yeah, so they have to go in. They need a lot more work on the model side. So the character guys have to go in and kind of separate those up a bit. That's why all the new ones, they're kind of modeled to support that stuff.
Like hydroids.
Exactly,
What are they modeled
yeah.
to support? Can you show us the movement?
No, you got it. You got it
Demonstrate
there.
it?
Yeah. The biceps can't handle it.
Bicep.
All right.
Gift of that.
Now you can get to what you were talking about, this update 13.
Well, I figured that you had a speech about our major update.
Well, I do, but I mean,
Okay, go ahead. I'm waiting.
oh, a speech. Now I feel like there's more pressure, but it's just that when a major update's released, and this one particularly touched to one entirely new system, the Dark Sectors, and it was a complete and utter overhaul and revamp of an existing system that was not up to par, Melee 2.0. So those are obviously the two largest bites of the sandwich that came with this update.
Yeah, we actually shipped Melee.
We actually
did.
shipped Melee.
We finally
did.
delaying it and delaying
And
it.
I mean, it's kind of funny because aside from all the feedback and everything, the majority of questions from PS4 Simba Kills and probably 10 a page, we were getting, what's the next 2.0? So it's
funny.
It's immediate.
People like 2.0s.
People like
do like
2.0s
2.0s.
because, well, for a lot of reasons, there's a lot
We're happy to oblige.
that can be. A lot can be 2.0 in this game. Melee was one of them.
Yeah.
What's next? What's the next big update? What are you working on? What is your sight on for the next 2.0?
For the next, I have to answer what the next 2.0 is?
Yeah.
All
tell
of you
us.
can, and then we can maybe determine priorities and why you think that's what it is.
Right here on the street.
You can debate on the stream. That's
This is
fine.
like a dev meeting.
Yeah,
I can-
it
what
is,
will
Be
totally.
the next 2.0.
I feel
Yeah.
like this isn't skipping to the end of the stream. This feels like more end of the stream.
You
Like,
think
what
so?
what are we doing next?
I feel like this is like,
I don't
well, I can change the question.
Usually, like a show has like last week on Warframe,
Last
and we
week.
they recap.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like me to do
No,
it
no,
that
we don't
way?
have to do that. No, that's fine.
I'm just going by this sheer volume of questions about this. Is
2.0 is it's not. I don't think we can call it 2.0, but the Dark Sectors.
Yes.
How the solar rails work, how the Tenno Spectres work. Those are the 2.0 things that are happening, but like right now with like our programmers.
Right. So
That's right.
Yeah.
So taking that, what I think is very crude but cool, and growing it from there, and creating more strategic options for the tacticians in the alliances and clans, adding more destabilizing forces to that conflict, so that there isn't just a sort of monopoly on them. Fixing things like the races to press the button when the deploy opens up.
Right.
There's been a lot of great suggestions from our community that we've just copy and pasted and sent to the programmers to implement. So thank you for that.
So this sounds like stuff you were talking about in Magamu's thread.
Yeah, I mean, I think, usually I don't go in there a ton, but I definitely spewed some ideas in there that ignited some flames.
Actually,
for
that was one of
sure.
the questions for sure from Solid Speed.
Yeah.
Just said, I want Steve to talk about more about what he said in the stream. I mean, what he said in Magamu's thread. So you
Magamu's thread.
just touched on
A
some
lot
of
of
that.
people probably don't know what was said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can give you a little. You're working quickly to expand the system. Random stuff that's coming.
That's right. So I think that's 2.0. What else we got that we feel is kind of 2.0 right now? I mean, we have things that are down the road, as Pat would say,
Yeah,
with
totally.
the focus system and the proxy wars and
Yeah,
how that
the-
integrates with factions and character alignments and that sort of thing.
Yep.
We have an update for the rescue mission type coming really soon.
That's right.
It's not a major system, but it's one of the game types that definitely required an
Yeah,
overhaul.
it's
and
the lowest on the.
It was, yep. So hopefully this will bring it back up, and it will also hopefully speak. Well, it should speak a lot to fans want for more stealth in the game. There's yeah.
So stealth missions when, as my next question from N7SNK equals whenever rescue ships.
Yeah, I'm not going to give a date, but it's down the block.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
I almost said soon, but no.
Yeah.
So
It's really close. They're working on the polish and the final tweaks to it now, and it is, it's pretty hardcore.
Are we still looking at this kind of tying into some of the
Yes.
stuff?
whoa! Now you have to be explicit. So
Well, I
Are you
don't know.
talking
They're
about
saying
the
this.
events
Yes.
and the specters?
I'm talking about the Spectres.
Yeah.
I was curious because
Feel free to talk about
yeah,
that.
let's
Spectres?
let's talk about this
because
immediately.
I think
This stuff's pretty cool.
the stuff where you're gonna craft your own Spectre.
Yes.
That is super exciting to me. That's not a 2.0. That's a 1.0.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome because being able to populate a solar a dark sector defense with your guy, with a guy that you created, that you kind of, the tacticians in the clans, those guys are going to be important. That's if you don't have a good tactician right now, you're gonna get tactical because you're gonna
or a couple of them.
Yeah, a couple of them exactly. Because you're gonna want people that really understand what makes a powerful Warframe in charge of who's defending your solar rail. And I think that the way we're tying that in with Rescue upcoming is going to be pretty cool.
What's the sort of elevator pitch for what is changing about Rescue? You mentioned the word stealth, which is probably a light bulb for all our players.
Yeah, so basically, I was told not to commit to a lot on this, but basically Rescue's being completely reworked. I think a little bit of it kind of leaked out a couple updates ago with being able to give your weapon, your secondary weapon to the,
That was hilarious.
That was great.
So that was part of a bigger rework that was in progress that basically adds leaders or wardens, as we're calling them, to the jails.
Right.
So the first version that'll ship will have a couple new rooms that will be added to the Corpus and Grenier sets that will basically create a stealth challenge for the team in order to free the prisoner. And if you kill the wardens, or if you or manage to stealth to the jail before the wardens see you, then they won't set off the alarms and execute the prisoner.
Right.
So now there's a really hard fail state in this mission, and a real hardcore stealth vibe to it. So
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, feel like you're creeping in there and actually, like if you're doing a rescue mission.
Yep. The room
The
itself.
end should be the bang. That should be like when you're getting Princess Leia, right?
Yeah. Now,
Yes.
I guess the question is, will the reward for such a difficult endeavor scale to that? Because the whole
Yes.
discussion
So
about
the idea that we're kicking around is tying game types and stuff that players do early in the game or in other mission types in the game back into the high level end game systems. So, rescue mission, we're kicking around the idea that when you rescue the guy, he gives you the component or a piece of the component that allows you to create the item that allows you to upload your Spectre.
right.
So in order to do that, you have to kind of play the other mission types, or low-level clan members can contribute to the bigger clan war by playing those low-level missions and then donating their items to the clan, and the clan can then use those to create Spectres of their high-level players that are probably the best
So
for defense.
that rescue target that you have has that's badass.
Yes, so that's the current idea. Whether or not
Now we just have to figure out, like with the Spectre stuff, we have to figure out like, hey, I'm a player that does 5,000 damage in one hit. What's my Spectre loadout? Those types of things are things that we're still working on, but it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So the idea is tying back the old mission types, or the beginning game of Dark or Warframe into the dark sectors, into the other end game systems.
Oh yeah, beginning of the game. That's a 2.0.
That's a 2.0.
Are we talking?
We're 2.0ing the beginning of the
Yeah,
game,
let's
right?
I don't
continue.
know how much our viewers want to hear about that, but maybe.
Well,
Well, what
I
is
think
the that?
that gives that that could give them something
That's true.
interesting and new to play through as well, right?
Yep.
So.
What is that?
Sorry, Steve.
Part of I think, for a long time, I think the feedback comes in two parts, which is we want more end game, and then the other side of it is we want more lore, or it's really hard for my friends to get into this game. The new user experience, and the immersiveness of that first bit. I think once the crafting and the player mastery loop hits you, then we sort of tend to make you a friend of Warframe for a while. So Dark Sectors is addressing that kind of veteran player, and we're working more on the new user experience for their friends that hopefully they might want to
Probably
bring
new
to the game.
user 3.0 actually.
Use it 3.0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
4.0. Right?
Yep.
That's something I think we have to keep improving, and I think those improvements kind of trickle into the rest of the game.
I was gonna say that's what probably that everybody benefits from those changes.
Yeah.
Everything that we do, because we're gonna be looking at what's it like to be a solo player, right?
Yeah.
That's new user experience. What's it like to?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different improvements that could come out of this. It's
I
big.
think part of the new users is not just dumping you on the toy solar rail or solar system standing above it. It's bringing the scope and the scale of Warframe to the forefront.
Yep.
So when you try to get your friends into the game, they're not just clubbed over the head and you have to drag them through. No, just get through.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
you
hopefully we have the systems in place and the tutorials in place that kind of pull them into the game. And
I think what will excite like our veteran players or people that have lots of hours in Warframe is the addition of the player ship, which is part of the new user experience.
Player
I think we
ship.
have
And I
something
have
to
some
show.
concept art to
Oh,
show.
there we go.
I
So
have,
this is
some,
like a segue.
It is a segue. That was
Player
accidental.
ship. Yeah, accidental segue.
Accidental
There is some concept art. I have shown the player ship before and talked about it, but there's just a few new refined pieces that are being built. This is an example of a Tenno ship variant. And these sorts of ships, we're not quite sure if the players can get their hands on these, but these are the kind of ships that might be around the solar rails or in the relay stations that we're going to be opening up as part of the sort of next major update that's down the road and around the block.
I love the scale reference there. That's
Oh yeah, the Lisette.
Massive.
Yeah.
These are very large ships.
yeah.
Well, we'll just no. That's fine, Warren. That's fine. This is part of an art set that's down the block and around the corner as well. This is we talked about this a little bit. This is another type of ice planet, but this is one that's has large Corpus crashed ships. And what's really there's a lot of concept art showing the outside, which is very cool. But there's a lot more development on what the Corpus ships look like inside and their functionality. If you want to just keep carrying on, we'll just sort of look at these randomly.
Sounds good.
Really visual development of the inside of a Corpus ship and seeing it kind of in this sort of destroyed state, this crashed state. I just thought some of this concept art was super film quality, amazing stuff.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And again, I got a sort of John Carpenter the thing vibe from some of this
absolutely.
stuff. That mix of technology with the snow and ice.
So
kind
what
of
does this
brought
kind of
in.
all this concept art speaks to a wrecked Corpus ice lane that is the next or
And what lays
upcoming or
beneath
what's
the
This
ice.
this is going to be a tile set I think that will follow. Oh, look at that! That's so.
Yeah.
I just love the warm and cold colors
Yeah.
mixed there. It's so great.
The scale, I think,
The
is
scale is so cool. This is a tile set that is coming after the Infested preview, which we can talk about.
Sure. Yeah.
after as
Yeah.
well.
Actually, we have some questions about that too. So
But look at how sophisticated this upgrade. The Corpus set was the first set we ever shipped.
Totally, yeah.
So this is a refinement of that. Lots of really neat stuff. Someone's making a joke that update 45 will be amazing. Yeah. My beard will be like 6 feet
You'll be a
long
wizard
by
by
then.
then.
Yeah, I'll be a wizard by then.
no shaving
be
till
fully,
update.
fully gray.
Yeah, it will be quite gray.
Now, so you were saying that the ship, Tenno ship, is going
This
to
is
play.
actually a ship. This is more shipyard expansion stuff. Actually, this one is a reactor for the shipyards, and we'll be doing an expansion of that shipyard set very, very soon. I think as an intermediate update towards the next major one. This is inside the player ship. This is the engine room of the player ship that every player of Warframe will get when they
Each
start,
individual?
When they start the game. Every individual is going to have their own player ship, and it has this. This is sort of the
For real?
the idea of
For
what it
reals.
looks- for real. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're sort of batting this idea back and forth, but in the same way the Void is this kind of compression of space, we think that the Lisette ship that flies you to and from your missions actually might have more sort of dimensionality inside, maybe a little bit like the TARDIS.
Yep.
So there's this kind of exaggeration there, which I think is really neat. And then the cockpit, I think, is really fun. I showed an early version of this a while ago.
It was last room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This is sort of cool. I think it has a bit of that Prometheus cockpit vibe, but it has the Tenno shape and curvature. And what we're hoping to do is when you start the game, you aren't kind of looking over the toy solar system,
Yeah.
but that you're here. And you're in, so, I suppose with air quotes, you're in a real space. Your ship is orbiting the relay station outside of Mercury. Mercury's there, the sun's there.
This stuff is really going to help the scope of
Yeah.
Warframe
Yeah.
feel much bigger. Like
Yeah.
I've always
we've really managed
yeah.
to make the solar system feel small.
Yeah,
like,
somehow.
in the bird eye view. So
Yeah.
I think just the impression that.
Because that's the feeling you always got when you were going to when you're traversing the nodes. At least for me, I always kind of
Yep.
layered that fiction on top that I'm getting in my ship and I'm moving from node to node.
Yep.
And actually being able to feel that and have a space that you're traveling in, amazing.
Yeah.
So I think this will be really fun. I think even for new and old players alike. I think we'll really enjoy this feature.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some changes to the game. Of course, we always like to pour a bit of scalding water or fan the flames a little bit. So there'll be a little bit of transportation costs to fly this ship into new regions. There'll be ways of upgrading the ship. And then I'm letting all the bombs drop.
Jesus.
Just a couple credits. It's
And
cool.
then, some credits.
Yeah, it's cool.
And those transportation costs are going to plug into faction ratings and the type of missions and the people you've allied yourself with as you play the game. And that's part of trying to bring narrative into the game in a way that isn't disposable but is more sort of systemic. So we've been making the jokes around here about your Tim Hortons faction rating has increased and your Starbucks rating has decreased.
Fueled by coffee.
But so there you go. There's some art.
Well, thank you. That's a little more than just art. That's an entirely new. It sounds like the 2.0 is Star Chart 2.0, to be honest.
It is.
That's a good way of putting it. Star Chart 2.0. I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a thing.
5 cents every time you say it.
All right.
That's my tax.
Yep.
No, it's, I think not to throw not throw in the bus, but just to bring to light
Sideball.
a lot of the people that work on the UI team, aka Pablo and Dorian. They were saying that they're kind of working on Star Chart 2.0 with this. And one of the questions we had from Sturg13 is, I would like to see my score at the end of a game. Everyone quits and I never get to see the score or what I got in the game. And they're going to have their hands full with Star Chart 2.0, I'm sure. But as well as one thing that myself personally, this is a little biased, but anyone that has ever played a game and that end mission screen shows you only 8 things.
Our end mission screen has shown its age.
Our end mission screen is getting the next major update. Apparently that's being completely overhauled to actually not only show you
I think it's
everything.
one of the last remaining screens that hasn't.
that hasn't
and it
been
needs to
updated.
change. Full disclosure,
which is hilarious because it's
the
pretty
most
important.
It's
You do.
almost
You
the
look
most
at
important
all the
screen in the
time.
game.
Yeah.
So not only will, this is the concept, not only will you be able to see a brand new end mission screen that shows you everything at the end of a mission, you will be able to view it again once the mission's over, last mission results, and then you can see. So if you're like me and kind of blank out at the end of a mission, you're like, oh my god, what did I just get from that mission? And
I'm like super competitive, so every time I finish a mission,
I'm just
I
talking
bring
about
up,
what mods you got and what resources.
No, I'm talking about WoW.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about stats. Well, the stats need to work a little better first, but that's anyway.
I think that's part of it.
That's all
Both.
part of the.
Both.
That's cool.
Part and parcel.
700% accuracy. Anyone? Yeah, multi-shot will do that. And or punch through in other
Punch
things.
through.
Rest in peace, end screen 1.0. That'll be we'll have to pour out some cracked canoe after that. All right. Excellent. One of the other more common questions from this week's Devstream Q&A session is about the dark sectors themselves and if they're ever going to be getting unique tile sets. This question has come from a lot of people, probably more than a dozen. So.
Right.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I saw some questions in chat just now as well.
Also a very common question.
The solar system, which is that our next preview tile set?
Yes.
Yeah.
So not the next. So Infested went away. Infested will be returning, but with proper art set and not just a layer on top of existing art sets. So this will be a version of the art sets that show the ships being actually pulled apart and morphed by the Infested stuff.
So when SSFX
And if you look
asks,
at last live stream, I think
Yeah.
there was some concept art shown
Yep.
about
Yes.
this idea of the musculature,
Yes. So this
the
is-
bicep
This is
of them pulling the ship apart.
Yeah, so this is hardcore in progress.
Yep.
And should be the next actual. Besides the shipyard expansion, this will be the follow-up set that gets released to the public.
And I have, I get tweets sometimes from loyal Tenno players who really want J3 Golem back, and he's
They miss
absolutely. They miss J3. He's absolutely being worked on.
Yep.
He's a complete redesign. I know Tom is making him look crazy, or Mickey's like making him look crazy, of course.
Yeah.
And Tom is designing it to be an actual proper, well thought out, staged
Do we
boss
know-
battle.
What is the next boss?
I thought there
I don't.
Sorry.
Sideball.
Yeah, sideball.
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 Tickle.
Knuckle curve. Okay.
There might be a sideball.
Sideball.
I'm not going to commit, but
J3.
No, I
they're
believe yes, I believe it's J3.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's
to
what I
go
thought.
with
I thought it
along
was
with the tile set that we're going to go with.
All right.
Excellent. So when someone asks how much work is going into fleshing out the army in particular of Corpus and Infested. So we have an environment coming for them. Will there be new enemies aside from J3 coming along with it?
Yes.
New Corpus army types, new Infested enemy types,
Yes.
a flying Infested perhaps.
Yeah, enemy types are definitely on the radar, and definitely something that's being worked on. I don't want to commit to anything, but I've had messages sent to me this morning to check out test levels of in progress and new Infested enemies and ideas being thrown around. I'm not going to steal your thunder about what you want to do, but
You can talk about that a bit.
yeah?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to do a design council, submit your ideas for enemy designs.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know, we hear it and we feel the need to grow the army, grow the diversity of
Grow
enemy
the armies.
types. So I think, you know, the community is full of great ideas.
Did you see the Grenier Sandworm I sent you today? The Grenier Centipede?
Yeah, that stuff's great. And honestly, you know, we want to take those ideas and turn them into fully realized enemies. So I think we're going to do a design council
And then-
kind of. Is it design council?
It'll be a very large scope interactive.
Very large scope, interactive.
To get it.
So does that mean beyond the design?
Well,
council?
Design Council will have the general access that we do with these things. So when we did the melee weapon competition, which Carrie is in progress, the first winner,
Yep.
we kind of did it across the whole board in different stages. So once we have the structure decided, and if
Yeah.
you're totally down for it, which it
Oh,
sounds
that's
like you
awesome.
are, we're doing this, so that's gonna be
yeah.
awesome.
I've already sent the design team the warning shots that we're going to
coming.
have community interaction on the
Yeah, that's
on
cool.
the enemy side. So I think that's going to be great. And I think I can't wait to see all the submissions because our
Yep.
community is crazy and have great ideas.
Yes.
So
And this actually is a pretty great segue to one of our questions from, in terms of user-generated content overall. PS4 Dukes App 1 says, will there ever be some sort of player studio like PlanetSide 2 has for Warframe, where users can create their own camos, 3D models, have separate market for player-created items? So Steam would have something like this as well, but
Right, the Steam Workshop.
like,
I think we have that in the slot for update 37.
so right now we kind of have the interactive community aspect of doing content like this that is done by them on a concept level and we implement it all. But is there ever going to be an actual tool set?
There should be, because
We've talked about that a lot.
the players that have come to this game, just seeing the art they generate,
Right.
and the ideas that they generate, we're not a Steam game, like we're not.
Yeah.
So the hooking up Steam Workshop isn't as trivial as it is if we were on that kind of platform, but we want to add alliance badges in right away.
Oh, yes.
We want to take. We want to let clans and alliances build some aspect of the Dark Sector's attack and defense stuff. I think you were asking that question, and I don't know if we really.
We didn't
We
hit
didn't
that.
really answer that
You
question
cooked
very
food.
well.
Oh yeah.
We didn't mean
The
to.
tell set.
We didn't mean to come
Yeah,
through that away, but
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
Dark Sector levels, when they're in conflict,
Yes.
we have multiple prototypes where there's the potential to battle even cooler specters or maybe even other players, which I know is a hot button topic
That is a hot
for
button
our
topic.
players. But there's a lot of degrees of freedom, even if a player isn't interested in that type of conflict or they have balance concerns, they can go off and craft a specter and help build an army for the tacticians to deploy, which is what Sheldon was talking about, in a game mode that's sort of unique and fun to that experience and starts bringing in a little bit of that kind of quest for mighty loot, creation of some aspect of your dojo being relevant
Right.
to that conflict. So those kind of user-created things, I mean, the dojo is a perfect example of user-created content. Getting it
I think players have been
further would be great.
Yeah, players have been asking for like, let them raid our dojo so we can
Totally.
defend.
Yeah.
So you know, we hear that, and I think we're gonna start to look at that or add that to the rails and allow you to build that into your dojo and then take that as
Absolutely.
into the rail system.
And I think, you know, I did see a lot of feedback that
Certainly.
was like, I can't fight another Tenno. This is kind of against my take on Warframe. And there's of course a lot of people that are really going crazy and playing those missions and really trying to dominate those dark sectors. We still have stuff for those people, and it's as the game has grown, it's not like Warframe isn't just about running extermination missions or playing infinite defense. There's a lot more stuff you can do in the game. Proxy wars, a solo player or a lore hungry player is going to love that stuff. what would it be like if you actually had Alan V on your side? What if he called you up in the middle of a mission and said, you know what, the Grenier stole something from me, here's 12 MOAs for you to go get it for me. And then we also have the focus system, which is for really late game players who have hit level caps, who want to spend all of that experience on specializing their player, not just their Warframe, but their player, down really interesting customization paths that is soaked in lore, which is, you know, those really freaky symbols on all the mod cards. Each of those corresponds to an ancient Tenno order, and they're going to learn more about those things. So the sky is not falling in terms of Warframe supporting both PvE and this competition that we've added with Dark Sectors. We've definitely still are trying to hold those things in balance.
So focus, what you just described, definitely the most appealing use of your veterans-manship in this game. Do you, I don't want to make you decide.
Maybe, to be honest, I think
might not be.
There's a few things that we're doing at the Tenno Spectres where a really powerful solo player can go on a quest and build what, you know, an ultra Spectre that then goes into the Alliance or Clan's inventory. Maybe he doesn't even want to go and like try to circle strafe another Tenno.
But he's giving his expertise.
But he now creates an army of people that are based on his power and based on his conclave rating.
The essence of you.
The essence of you. Absolutely. And
that's the concept.
And what's neat is you have to go on this quest to do this. You have to rescue these. You have to, you know, build and craft these things. So
all tying together.
So we're trying to take all of these types of players, right, that like salty or like sweet or whatever their taste in Warframe is, and we really are trying to help most of them, you know, but keeping it uniquely Warframe.
Right. Well, say a player's only interested.
But anyway, sorry I interrupted you.
You didn't. I'm just saying. So say my only question was, when can a player that's only interested in focus system expect to be able to do that? Is that the next kind of
dodging question?
You know, I mean,
focus is in progress.
We're working on it.
It's definitely in progress and being worked on. You know, there is a prototype that works in our development build. You know,
you guys saw it last
you
year?
guys probably have seen it in the UI.
Actually, you accidentally saw
we
it.
accidentally.
Lenses.
So it's definitely
it isn't hot air. It's definitely in the game, our development build of the game, and it's definitely being thought about and worked on. It's just a matter of priorities and figuring out what's going to actually make it to the shipping build before the other things, right? Dark sectors are the big hot topic right now. You know, we know that players are investing heavily in these. You know, there's a lot of resources and a lot of time and effort going into these, and these are something we want to fix first before we divert and go off and make another system.
So. And I mean, just speaking to that, in terms of content that you don't want to divert from, Melee 2.0 is live on the PC right now. It's been iterated on. I know you have brought some things today to show. If you want to speak a little bit to those. We definitely have a lot of questions surrounding that in terms of why stances were implemented the way we were, the confusion between an actual physical stance and a stance mod, the general approach with combos, damages, and how Melee is viable now, what kind of improvements you can see in the immediate future.
There's a lot of questions.
Before Geoff goes into the new stuff, I'll just like what we call stance and what is shipped on the weapon as the base stance.
There's a default stance.
In our eyes, that is a stance. It is the default stance. It has no combos, but when you work with the data and you work with the dev build, it's still called a stance. It's still considered a stance. It's slotted into the weapon as a stance. So when we talk about it, it's hard to separate
terminology from all that stuff.
I guess we apologize for the confusion, but in our eyes,
the base weapon. And
there is the base stance, which is what ships on a weapon, what every player got with every weapon, and then there is the combo stance that is manifested as a card.
And that's quite simply enabling combos with higher.
Yes. And a different base set of attacks and whatnot. But that was the confusion, and you know we should have clarified that before. But it's definitely it is a stance in the code. It's just.
It doesn't have a pretty card with it.
It doesn't have a pretty card, and it doesn't have the depth that the found stances have.
So the depth.
And I think I just saw a question about the locking them behind RNG.
Yes.
I think you guys probably have like more to say about that than I do. One of the problems that we have is when we introduce major new systems, usually what we're thinking about is what's this going to be like in a year? So, of course, if you play the game and you have your sword and you think your sword's cool, of course, during your travels, you're going to get a few stance mods, and then you're going to put those on and everything's awesome. versus a new player waiting for those stances going, damn it, I have to play to get this.
Yeah.
I want to try it right now, which I totally appreciate, but I think, we tried to soften how rare they were, but we generally try to add new systems in with that kind of gradation of expecting there to be a bit of gameplay for you to actually go in and experience those things.
Yeah.
In the same way that when the Dark Sectors came in, everyone was messaging me and saying, well, there's no point to this, and why everyone's zero taxes, LOL, you guys didn't think this through. And then seeing players kind of figure out the dynamics of that, which even we couldn't predict. So,
for sure. The stance cards, and I mean, it's also kind of interesting because you find a stance card for a weapon that you haven't been using, and then you start experimenting with it. So it creates whole new hooks for
I
the
think
weapons.
my favorite Reddit thread lately has been what is your favorite melee weapon and what's your favorite stance?
Yeah.
Because we see all the default names, but then Steve blasted through and named all of the stances and all of the attacks. And just reading that thread is hilariously awesome.
Fracturing wind.
Fracturing wind.
Yeah, I love the Obex with
None
the
of that here,
fracturing.
please.
I just loved reading all the names together with the different attacks.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was amazing.
it's super cool.
No, I agree. That's a good answer, and you definitely touched on the RNG issue that surrounded it. But as from your perspective, some of the weapons only have one stance, some of the weapons only have one combo.
Yep.
What you got?
Again, I think, I mean, the volume of, not the bicep, the volume of animations that we had to put into these, plus like just even then getting them hooked up and kind of figuring out which animations would go with which stance. There was a lot that we kind of realized we just didn't have time to fill all the slots for every stance card. But as we're going to talk about today, we actually are updating some existing stance cards with new animations into them, so they'll have like a B option going into them. So I think we brought some examples of that.
Ready for some video, Warren?
As well, but I think the
Hopefully not crash
the
the
glaive, the scythe, and both bow staff stance cards are going to have.
I actually have
option
a
B.
copy-paste Skype from you on here for
Do you?
reference
Yeah,
of exactly what's coming. Hold on.
Yeah.
Jeff, you said glaive, scythe, and both staff stance cards have second combos added.
Yep, and then there's a brand new katana stance card that is two-handed, so they're holding the katana with two hands.
Excellent.
Oh my god.
I think the katana one addresses some of the concern with
It's
the
more-
Nakana about it being more single enemy focused, and this has more broad strokes and more
So the
more
combat
crowd
gets
control.
More crowd
version
control,
of
yeah.
So
the.
which one is this that we're looking at?
So here's the new katana. So that'll be, so the first three hits are your default stance, the 1, 2, 3, and then that part there is the combo A, and then actually I don't think we have video. The combo B is kind of like the spinning uppercut that does like a big kind of radial pushback.
Very good.
Which is great
So-
against the crowd, guys.
I saw questions in chats just saying when.
Yeah.
Today.
Seriously? Ready, Daryl. So that's today?
That's
right,
today.
Okay, great. Well, that is the first time in stream history that we've shown a video and said,
yeah, you're gonna
Yeah,
see
you're
it.
gonna get that
Today.
today. Yeah.
speaking of other things,
So there's the new scythe combo. So this is the option B for the scythe.
was that a backflip
It
with
is a
forward
backflip.
momentum?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So lots of multi hits in that.
It has a nice uppercut ragdoll finish to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is flying.
Wow.
And the next.
And now there's some other special videos I hope you are showing because Senketsu.
We'll get
I'm so
we'll get to
excited.
those.
I
know
can't
you're
even.
excited about
I
those.
can't.
So here's this is.
Take my mic.
Warren edited it wrong. This is
This is not Warren's fault. It's not Warren's fault.
I swear.
there should be 2 hits in this one for the like. There's
Well, they're going to see it today anyway,
You'll see
aren't
it today.
they?
So that one is that's a 4-hit attack. And actually, if you're close enough to the enemy, it'll hit them 4 times. And then there's a push that goes after that one.
Which gives you a nice knockback effect.
Yeah, so it
To
kind of
give you
sends
a
the
little
enemies back a bit. So I'm just. And then here's the second. And then so Warren messed this one up as well.
Stop.
So there's the hit there, and then there's like a jumping attack that's not finishing.
That
in
gives
this
you a
video.
nice radial slam, a la the jump down slam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think
good.
the glaive that's also going out today with the new
Today. You just want it to be the today bomb
Today.
dropper.
today.
Classic.
So there's just a lot of like
Oh, the yo-yo.
range, yeah, more yo-yo, and then that last one is a really good kind of like
Yeah, that last attack is amazing for crowd control
crowd,
because of it also does knockbacks on all the
That's
guys.
cool.
So
Yeah.
it definitely gives you room and separation from the infested enemies.
yeah, yeah, and both those yo-yo attacks do multi-hits when it goes through and back through the enemy. So yeah, so that's all today. It's all
Is
with
there a new
hotfix.
card with one? Did you say there's a
There's
new
one new
stance?
stance card.
The katana gets a new card.
The katana's a new stance.
The other ones are all updates to existing.
He's raising his eyebrows like this.
I don't know. I'm just like,
So, as you can imagine, Llama Dog Kubro hype has
Yeah.
been
Is this what
kind
you've
of the hypiest of hypes.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Kubros. Sinketsu underscore asks, I'd like to know the status of these Kubros if we don't see anything about them today.
Well, we can do both. We can show stuff and give a status update. Content is about. Sorry, the sirens are going by.
there we go.
Oh, we'll give platinum away every time there's a
Yeah.
siren.
Oh yeah, okay.
We'll do that right now.
Yeah.
Platinum prize.
Something's happening.
Wait, Warren, wait.
Oh,
It's too late.
too late.
Cat's out of the bag. Llama's out of the
Kubro's
bag.
out of the reactor.
Yeah.
Kubra's
All right. Here comes the 1,000 platinum prize to a lucky viewer that's logged in on Twitch. Dean can predict the future. Who's going to be Dean? Dean Bergman, the winner. The winner is Homzi, Homzi. You won 1,000 platinum. Message our Twitch page with your PSN or PC ID. We'll hook you up.
Excellent.
And
Awesome.
that's a siren platinum prize. What do we have here?
Very cool.
What do we have here, Geoff?
Oh, okay, so well, the update is they're about like 90% content complete. So now it's the AI and design guys are kind of going in and polishing up their functionality. So this is the enemy version that we're seeing here, and Tom, who does a lot of work on the boss fights. Actually, does like pretty much handles the design of the boss fights. Is kind of looking into these guys, and he had a very cool idea of giving them a bit of a pack mentality. So when you see these guys in the wild, they'll be in groups, and they're kind of scavengers. So they'll wait to kind of come out and get people unsuspecting, just like this. It was good timing.
Oh god!
So they'll even attack. They'll even attack Grenier
Why do you
and
look
whatnot.
so
That was the best.
And this is them
Poor
attacking.
Excalibur added to the list of
Oh, we don't know how that
Some-
ends.
We don't know how it ends. Yeah, it can end one of two ways, I guess.
Face.
And it's just a lick. Oh, good boy.
He
He's really just friendly.
just watch his belly scratch. Yeah. So these are the enemy types.
Those are the enemy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else
yeah.
is there, Geoff?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And then, well, here's some animations for the pet version.
Sit, boy.
Sit.
Good dog. Good dog.
Oh, that is.
That is so cute. I can't hit.
Oh, wow, that is cool.
How does
Can
he
you
zip
tint him
line?
pink?
How does he
I'm
zip
sure you
line?
can. To
Yeah.
the
Is that how he zip lines?
And this is going to be how he zip lines. So, yeah, this is all
What?
Lucy's
That's how he
animations.
zip lines?
This is amazing. Yeah, he's
jumps
going
on top.
So you can zip line?
Yeah.
He kind of, he type
And wall
to.
run.
tightrope
He
walks
wall
him.
runs too, right?
We showed wall
He
running
wall
in the
runs.
last
I knew that he wall runs. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
today.
This is not today.
Today.
This is not today.
I guess we set ourselves up for
Only the
that.
stances.
Can you command him? Or does he just bark and sit on kind of random?
Yeah, that's all he does is bark and sit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Enemies are close by, he barks. After they're gone, he sits.
I think we talked about it a few streams ago, but we have some emotes for the players as well that we
Yes.
need to get hooked up. And I could see it kind of correlating, his behavior kind of correlating with what you do.
Gotcha.
That's-
And is he
so-
gonna? I know we've asked this and kind of confirmed, but is he replacing whatever you would have in the pet slot,
Yes.
which is being renamed?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, that's right.
That slot will be the pet slot,
Yeah.
not the
I think it's
slot.
probably safe to say 14 for the Kubro,
Oh, great.
I guess. Yeah.
Safe to say.
Safe
Oh,
to say.
another siren.
Yeah.
Another platinum
Oh,
prize.
there you go.
Here we go. One that we need to.
Are you
sell.
actually going to do another platinum prize?
Yeah, we've only done.
Per siren.
All right.
Yes, here we go. 1,000 plat coming to someone. Drum roll. Who could it
Drum
be?
roll.
Who on earth could win this platinum prize?
I don't
Who
know.
on?
Do we have technology?
I like that you have to restart the loop.
It's gonna start with a T.
I'm trying. You're not even scrolling.
Yes, I am. We just had that many viewers.
Come on. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna make, I just want to make Sheldon have a painful experience. These are going to be Dimsday. How do you pronounce that?
I have no idea.
Dimzdui.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yay.
You won 1,000 platinum.
Yay.
Is that you?
No.
Are you sure?
No. I'm Grenier.
Some whistles.
Message our Twitch page, PSN ID, or your PC alias, and we'll hook you up. You're like an awful radio host.
He is. He's like the radio DJ.
All right, a few more questions, if you will, gentlemen.
I saw a question in chat about the bait and switch tactics of offering high
Yes.
battle pay on a solar rail and then switching it, or not giving enough underlying reserve to pay it out. So those are things that we're working on fixing.
Yeah, that's being fixed.
Yep.
Great. The Matherson asks, quick and short question. Why is every weapon after update 12 clan tech? It's really frustrating to have to wait 3 days for every weapon that gets added. Love if you guys went back to putting blueprints in the market, or alternatively reducing the research times to at least 1 day.
I think, yeah, I can answer that. I think mostly it's players initially wanted more weapons in clan tech, more reason to have your dojo, and more reason to have spent all that time. You know, definitely that's great feedback, and we can
look at that
addressing
for sure.
those times. But the idea is to fill out the clan tech and fill out the research. And, you know, we do release a lot of weapons and stuff, so.
Putting them in place.
I think it's just finding spots. You know, we felt the market was kind of getting overwhelming, because it's like a new player gets to go to the market as just the scrolling list of all of the stuff that is possible. I think if we continue to add to that and continue to grow that list, it would just get uncontrollable, and
I guess
there'd
the
be
thing
no
to
way
say
to
is
select what you actually want.
is that we're not saying just because the last set, we've been trying to fill out, you know, clan tech and make that pretty cool. That's not to say we'll never put something back in the market.
Yeah, I feel like players would probably appreciate it in the near future
there's
to have
definitely
a market
there's definitely
weapon.
going to be weapons in the market still. It's just you know how many are in there, how many are in clan tech, how many have other ways of
But
finding them.
some of the research times that could definitely have a look
Yeah,
at.
the last one was 3 days, and I guess the Nami Skyla was 3 days as well, or
It's been arranged.
Attica.
We've had a couple twos.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can look at the times as well.
Before we go away from Melee too far, I saw someone going the Valkyr work.
Yes.
Valkyr.
So we are working on it right now.
Okay.
We have 2 animators actually making content for it. And I think the cool thing with the systems that we introduced with Melee we're going to add a lot of function to that in her 4th power. So she's going to have new combos, probably combo chains as well, or not probably, definitely combo chains.
Great.
And then with the parrying system, we're going to give her some multi-finishers, like different types of finishers. And I think she's even going to have a bit of a unique movement set when she goes into her 4th state, just to make her
No more
feel
hover
much
punch?
more aggressive. No more hover punch, it's gone.
Oh,
But I think like, I think like just, you know, she'll have a new idol. When she jumps, she'll like do a spin flip. Like she'll have a different wall run where claws are in the wall. Like I think we're just going to kind of beef it up a bit. So it's
Damn,
a lot of
Valkyrie
content
just-
going into it.
just got real. This one question next is up for Sheldon, probably in particular. Is Steal the Show asks, now that you've had time to collect some data, how has the introduction of trading affected platinum sales?
Thanks, Jeff.
No problem.
How is the introduction of trading
Affected platinum sales or any platinum stats?
Platinum sales?
Or platinum stats, either.
Well, actually, what's been happening is we've definitely seen that platinum has moved out through the player base. So tons of players that didn't have platinum before, only had their 50 starting platinum, now have platinum in their coffers, and they're buying things on the market with that. So
It's very cool. Yeah.
It's been a resounding success. Honestly, that's the best way of putting it. Is that having people be able to trade and get the things they want, and then kind of earn a little platinum and be able to spend on the market. Overall, I don't have a statistical like, hey, here's 50% more players, but a ton more players have platinum than they ever had before. So this is a good thing.
This is a very good thing.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and yeah.
And I think for me, trade, like talking about the Tenno Spectres and the idea that you can go and craft and build things that can go feed back into the solar rail conflicts. Trade enables careers almost, so that some players can decide that maybe I'm not so good at this game type, or maybe I'm not interested in that, but I can still support the rest of the group by building something and trading for it, or maybe I can get some platinum that way, or maybe I can get that stance mod I want, or, those sorts of ways of exposing myself to new systems by specializing.
Yeah, and I think it makes a lot of the times when you get things that, like a guy hits a T3 key and he didn't really need that T3 key, well, they're in demand, and it's a great way to, to turn that, what you've earned, into something else that you want. So it's been working great.
There is a lot of questions I see about how awkward the trade channel is.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of like there's suggestions about, I don't think people really want like an auction house, but they want a way of asynchronously performing trades and that sort of thing. So those are some things that I think are definitely on the table. We want to try to improve that situation.
People are asking for more granulated trading channels, mods only.
That's right. Yeah, I think some of those things we can probably do very, very quickly. But I agree that it is really noisy and sometimes is a bit of a sideball.
Yeah, I definitely get comments of people think it's easier to get their trades done by kind of forum posting rather than going in the channels and working in game. So.
Yeah, the trading post, the subforum exists for that reason as an alternative, but it all comes down to someone having to read and reply.
Yeah, and being live in the game. You're in the game, you want to trade something, it's great to find a partner, right?
And I'm not, again, I said Auction House, and I see some people getting nervous that might have experience with Diablo. I'm not talking about a Diablo style.
No.
I'm just talking about a way of posting a trade and having it fulfilled without you necessarily having to do all of the
chat looks split 50-50 right now on the World Auction House.
Yeah. I would just say it's an exploration of improving that system because we love trade, but we don't think that the user side of it is necessarily great yet.
Trade-wise, I think something like we had 11,000 trades yesterday on PC.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
3,000 on PS4. So people are definitely getting it done.
It's very cool.
Fantastic.
Ammo drum most traded?
Yeah, lots of ammo drums.
We have another question now that it's a very, very large scope question with a very specific example at the end, so just prepare yourselves. This is from Kalain, who says, what are your plans to reduce RNG and grind, particularly in the Void for prime parts and stance mods? And then the follow-up question is, how about ability and stance mods being shifted to the market? That's the question.
Wow. So right now, actually, I think the Void is in the best place it's been in a long time. So I'm pretty happy. That totally can still keep improving.
Yeah.
But my ratio of how is that doing is how many PMs and tweets do I get a day on that, and it's been totally reduced.
Yeah.
That could be just because people are excited about the dark sectors or trying out Melee 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, removing credits and resources, save for Orc and Cell and Endless types has been awesome.
Right, but at the same time, these things can always improve. We can always find better ways.
And I think it'll always be adjusting as we add more content to the game. We've talked about another tier in the Void to give us more room and more separation of those drop tables, so those items are not diluted as much. So
another good example is just how we put the parts for Oberon on the leaders. And how are we going to make it so that, the leaders are in all sorts of different aspects of the game, are on all sorts of different regions. What could we do to kind of make it regionalized? Different leaders dropping different things in different regions. So there's a lot of places, we have a lot of room to grow in how we're going to do drops, and we are definitely
one of the huge wins from an RNG side was taking the bosses and making them give you the blueprinted and mission rewards. So when Necros came out, he didn't drop from Lephantis physically, he became mission end. And
yeah, I think that was part of the pain of that particular system was the mods were physics.
Yes.
The drops were physics, so they were falling out of the world, they were falling through the world. Players were collecting it mid-mission and going, that's not the one I want, and dropping instead of completing. So I definitely think that solved some problems, but I don't think that necessarily was an RNG fix.
Well, it's definitely helped, to say the least.
It's helped with my thing fell off the cliff.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's actually still a problem with Zephyr's tornado, but...
Yes, and you tell me every day.
Only because I care.
I know.
I'm like Dorothy in Kansas. I don't know. Sorry, back to the point here, though.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that we're not just, that isn't just like,
wiping our hands.
Work here is done. There's a lot of work to do, and we continue to look at ways that we can make other ways for players to grab something in.
And I think addressing the stance concerns, we sprinkled the stances across enemies. I'm not going to speak for you, but I know we have had a conversation about going back and looking at the enemy drop tables now and going, wow, we've added more stuff to them. Some of them might be overcrowded, and we need to slim them down again and spread them over different enemies or new enemies.
When we use the word overcrowded, the easiest thing to pinpoint as a player is the ability mods in the drop tables, right? And this kind of became a hot topic 3 weeks ago, and it still is right now, because now that we have Spectres, people are like, why don't you just put the ability mods on the Tenno Spectres and clear out the drop tables? And then people are saying put them in the market, but I know you guys...
Again, even that suggestion shows that as the game grows, there's ways
There's
to move
more
things
ways
around
to
and
move
things
things
fix problems that we have with the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's a pretty good suggestion is putting them on inspectors, and that's a good way for players that want those. Our initial concern with not removing them initially was players that I want a level 2 and a level 3 in case my build requires it. That's why we initially didn't remove them.
That's right.
So I think putting them on the specters as potentially
idea.
as a drop is a really good idea. But that wasn't available until last update.
Exactly.
So it's something we're going to go back and readdress the enemy drops, which will
That actually
hopefully.
is super cool. It's like a obvious quest of where to get your Spectre. Go fight Ash, get that Blade Storm.
Yes.
Interesting.
Potentially.
No, I'm
Potentially.
just rambling now.
Don't get ahead of yourself. It's a tornado.
Any other comments on that particular subject at this time?
Sounds pretty good.
I think so.
Pretty great. Have you guys seen any questions in chat go by you'd like to address, or may I continue
It's
the list?
mostly commentary on what you're talking about. I see token system talk go by, which I think kind of comes up now and then, which the light reading on economics tells me that's just another way of saying credits, but...
Perhaps the all capital Vors prize got your attention right there. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that one. Did I go?
There it is again.
Yeah, there it is again.
Nope, didn't see it.
Didn't see it. I see some big questions about customization. Someone, I think, keeps copying and pasting a very large block about the Halloween customization, but unfortunately it's so big that I can't.
I believe the
I can't
Halloween
read it all.
skin's
Questions
not
are
working
awesome in
on
chat.
different variants. Well, I know that we looked at.
Yeah.
Do you have it? The,
Oh,
the,
Megan's got it. Hold on, hold on.
the
There
Halloween?
it is. I think I just saw it go by.
What is it?
I can't. Okay, hold on. You're gonna have
What is going on?
to. You can talk to my bicep. Yeah, it's hard though. But.
We're getting an off-camera
I can't get my-
Megan
This is,
reading
let's,
in
I like,
chat.
I like
not
watching
off
Sheldon
camera.
take the
It's not
microphone off his.
I lied.
Hey, so the question is from Straw Hat. My question is about the Day of the Dead skin pack from Halloween. On the Devstream number 17, you said that you were working on making the skins available for all Prime variants, yet there was no progression. What happened with these plans?
That's the bit of. You have that bug? That's
Oh,
under
that
you.
bug?
Fix it.
So we'll blame Sheldon.
Cuz Sheldon.
It's my
Because
fault.
Sheldon.
And
So Prime variance skin doesn't work.
it doesn't work yet. So we'll fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fixable.
Yeah.
Yep.
All that for nothing.
The,
That's something. That's worth it.
Yeah.
It was good. There you go. We got a question.
It was worth
and an
watching you
answer.
try and take the microphone off your shirt.
It totally was worth it. What about
Physical comedy.
general inclusion of new frames, balances, reviews of past frames, the whole power creep versus releasing? I hate using that word in ambiguous context, but
What'd you say?
Power creep.
Power creep.
Power creep.
Yeah, I guess after the update went out and melee stuff's going out, the new stuff is going out. Definitely old frames and new frames and buffing and nerfing is on my mind for sure. I definitely do not want to commit to what I'm about to do. I call it fanning the flames, but there's some frames that definitely need a look.
yes. I thought you were.
Trinity's invincible.
Is that the mace of nerfing or the mace of buffing you have next to you?
It's a mace of something, and I'm not sure yet.
All right.
It's encrypted. It needs to be decrypted first.
Dual dagger of
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So definitely, hot topic on my mind is taking a look at frames and giving some older frames some love, and maybe some of the newer frames a little bit of buffing, nerfing changes that are required. Hydroid that went out. A lot of his powers, you have to wait till the power completely finishes before you can cast it again,
Right, yep.
which I think players don't really appreciate. So I'm going to look at ramifications of allowing those to be multicast and seeing what that's like. Trinity's blessing, basically giving her and her team invulnerability. I've actually had several PMs with please for the love of God nerf her because it makes the game really unfun, because every time I end up with a Trinity in my group, they just play this one loop and the challenge is lost in the game. And I totally feel that, and I think that has to change. Nova is always a hot topic.
Definitely. Then Banshee on the other
Ash,
side.
Yeah, Ash and Banshee probably need a buff. So definitely figuring out where those are going to land, I'm not sure yet, but those are the things that are hot topics on my mind. As far as weapons go, going back now after melee is viable, and is definitely a thing. Going back and looking at the other portion of our game, which is the guns, and figuring out which category of guns aren't really up to par with the rest.
Represented well, yeah.
And Rebecca always tells me it's sniper rifles. So
Why use snipers is the...
yeah, so sniper rifles will probably get a look and maybe a little bit of a buff as well to bring them up and make sure that they're a viable weapon. You know, we look at the DPS charts and what people are using, and they're definitely slowly falling down the charts as things progress. So it's turned into what I'm working on. It wasn't supposed to.
There you go. You're up there.
We'll give a very thorough analysis of
want to
what you
answer
just
any
said,
answer.
hopefully in
I'm
some
sure.
form.
I'm
Your
sure that-
inbox is about to explode. Chad just did. So
Don't nerf Trinity.
don't. Yeah.
My favorite thing about Update 13 is blocking bullets.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
That is the sickest thing.
And dodging, going with the way you can dodge now.
Way you
while
can
you're blocking.
dodge.
Yes.
With reflection on.
Strafing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
there's so
like
much.
channeling and
Yeah.
blocking so that you get the streams the whole time. Just dazzling. There you go.
I have one or two more important questions.
Jeremy's putting in support for energy colors that are dark, by the way.
What? Like you can finally have black energy? How will
Yeah.
that even work?
Yeah.
He's figuring that out right now.
Yep.
Oh, and Jacques is working on the glaive, so you don't have to swing then throw.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Key binding with Melee 2.0.
That's probably going out. That might be going out today.
oh, awesome.
Stream of
That's
today.
wicked.
Yep. Yep.
Great.
The separate binds for attacks.
Right.
In equip mode.
Quick versus equipped.
Yep.
Great.
Don't nerf
See,
Trinity.
don't nerf Trinity.
There's a lot of don't nerf Trinity.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll put
Just a little bit.
my armor 2.0 on.
Sean's so dismissive.
She'll have amazing claw physics, but nerfed into the ground. Is that?
Yeah, you're gonna give her a moving
I'm the guy that's in
cigarette.
Scott's office every day saying,
I'm not going to nerf her into the ground.
Everyday email.
A question from SE05239 says, are you planning on making rewards a little more rewarding? As in, the ore can sell at 40 minutes of T3 survival. It's not cool. RNG must be tweaked, but we did speak to that earlier. Also, why doesn't defense reward stack yet? Defense is the most unrewarding, that was all caps for emphasis, unrewarding
caps?
game
Can you
type.
yell that at us,
I
please?
can. It is the most unrewarding game mode in Warframe regarding defense. Now, keep in mind when we did our survey, it was 3rd place out of 11, just behind survival and assassination. So overall, this is one user's view that it's the most unrewarding. But do you have any plans to make them instead?
I think we already said they were going to stack.
But do we know when?
Do I have plans?
Yeah.
It's not scheduled in my calendar.
Oh, well, you should pencil it in.
We can definitely look at it.
Well, I agree with what he's saying, and we last live stream we were talking about stacking it. So
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah. So,
totally
yeah.
agree with that. That's a great question, and we should get on that.
Yeah.
So
and
Jeff's gonna code it up.
Jeff's got it.
I got
Yeah.
this.
If
you
you could
just
reply
flex
to
at
the
the
question in
keyboard.
all caps, that'd be good.
Can loading times for console be shorter if possible? Hell
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. We were
Talk about this.
We were having a rant just yesterday about the PS4 load times when I was playing this weekend. That was pretty frustrating for me. So yeah, we have some ideas. Glenn, our tech director, is working on load times to main and investigating the load times between levels. He's probably watching this and cursing that I'm pinning it on him.
Aw.
But
We'll talk about ponies though, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He gets a pony if he makes it awesome.
Yeah. Rainbow Dash. Rainbow
Oh, you
Dash
just
just for
confirmed on
him.
stream.
But
You
it's
can
certainly
say no
something
now.
that I know Pat and I have talked about as well on the console experience with performance and with load times. And they have some great, actually, Glenn even identified one of the problems. Every time we do an update on console, it increases the fragmentation of the Warframe data files, and they're going to be able to update that and squeak out some more fast load times.
Apparently the servers just died on the game, so who knows?
Servers
Maybe
died
we
on the
should end
game? Well,
stream.
maybe Glenn's going to be more busy than I expected.
Exactly. Now, one of the very funny questions I thought from Gigatron Prime was, what are some of the funny because of the answers I got. What's the top bug in the game that you would like to see fixed? And when I asked Red Text, who will remain nameless, he said,
Ooh, the Red
one
Text.
bug that
Oh,
drives
yeah.
me nuts every time I play. That damn extraction room from one of the Grenier maps has a pipe that drops you onto a narrow platform, which is immediately followed by a giant pit. So run out of the pipe, roll, fall into the pit every single time. So that sparked an auto roll discussion with Dev, so hopefully you
I
auto
think
roll.
auto roll
yours.
is a good one. That needs to be improved for sure.
But yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys have an answer to that on the fly as a player or Dev.
There's a hitch.
Yeah.
There's a hitch that's that I actually got today before I came here that is driving me nuts that we're chasing up right now. There's
all performance bugs on PS4.
all performance bugs on PS4 and low end PC. Those are the big ones that
those irritate.
we have taken more and more people to identify those problems. Again, I fixed one of them last night, which was related to transmissions turning off visibility queries. So it's definitely, those are the big ones that drive me absolutely nuts. And then just the new user experience stuff is kind of my personal crusade right now.
Yes, so we are seeing in chat that people are having issues logging into the game right now, so we'll look at that after the stream. We're going to do one last platinum prize, 24-hour alert coming after the stream, and then we'll wrap this up to go fix the game.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh yeah, hotfix.
Are you going to check your phone to see if anyone's texting you about the servers?
I don't see anything about
Actually,
servers
I've had
coming on my
tweets already
phone.
saying no one's tweeting you about RNG.
Oh, I have some. What? No.
It's sort of painting a
get-
target on your back, isn't it?
Let me
You want to scrolling this time?
let me help.
You are scrolling this
Excellent.
time.
Here we
Keep
go.
scrolling. Keep scrolling.
Who's going to win the next 1,000 platinum?
You're scrolling.
Is it gonna be
You're gonna blow it. You're gonna blow it.
Scrolling. Scrolling.
I see someone tweeting me that Vindictus has a good trading system.
Oh, it does.
So we'll definitely check that
Twitter.
out.
Yep.
Yep.
Excal94, EXCAL94, and we're going to do one more starting from the bottom this time. Excal94.
You're so wacky.
You've won 1,000 platinum message our Twitch page. Your in-game alias for PS4 ID. PS4. PSN ID. I'm going to get all the way to the
Something.
bottom of this list of 7,394 users, so bear with me here.
Yeah, Ryan on Twitter is saying, I'm stuck in traffic, I might make it home for the dev stream.
Oh, no.
But there's
But he had a question.
a worker scratching his butt in the
Must be a Grenier.
the road. So
Hey.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Not you. Just a real Grenier. All right, we're going to do one more platinum
I'll
prize.
just go on our phones.
Yeah.
well, I wanted to acknowledge them here
Can
on
we
the
talk
stream
about-
in case they were actually watching.
Yeah, Arch Wizard asks about when can we expect to see the first implementation of universal ability mods, and what can we expect as examples? And if you recall, we had a massive spreadsheet done for the design
universal
council
mods.
for those. But do you have
There's
any?
been an argument after. Wasn't there about that like
There
internally?
wasn't. There wasn't. I don't know.
Was there?
I thought maybe.
No, just you.
Just me.
Yep.
Yep.
You arguing? Oh, about
I don't argue.
animating every frame to have one power.
No.
I don't remember that argument.
No?
Refresh us, Jeff.
Are you still scrolling?
I have to get to the bottom of the list.
Oh, we haven't actually got the winner yet?
No, we had one
This
winner,
is the
Excal
second.
94, but now we're going down up
Oh, I see.
until I find another RNG dice.
Okay.
We're still not at the bottom, just so you know. So if you're watching and waiting patiently, congratulations.
This is awkward silence.
I know.
I'll fill that with something. Hold on.
Here we go. I'm at the bottom.
Go.
Up, down, down. 1,000 platinum. Oh my goodness, that's enough to buy
Hope this is a good one.
1,001 platinum ammo drums from trade to make Sheldon stats.
Oh yeah, totally.
Here we go. Who's the
Go,
winner?
go. Now, this person.
SPAFB. SPAFBI. You won 1,000 platinum message or Twitch page that you're watching on right now with your PSN ID or PC alias.
I thought that would be open.
I saw a question about clan downsize option. That is not in the queue right now, but we can definitely look into that. I saw a question: will there be more movement or animation sets? And I assume that's a stance question. And if you saw early, Geoff showed a whole bunch of new stuff we're even adding today.
I think it might be
Yeah.
about mobility.
Is it a mobility question?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
That is something I would like to us to like. That's another system improvement. I think.
All right.
Parkour, yeah.
You guys were on prime time last night. I saw a question. I saw someone.
Scott's trying to sneak away.
Get some in the bathroom. Go. If you need to leave.
I saw a question about events on PS4.
Oh, when are they coming?
And one user was saying it'd be really great to be able to have a PS4 event kind of at the same
How
time
fast he's going.
as PC,
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
which is something we've absolutely talked about and
Yep.
we are planning to
We
do.
have some goals around that. Yeah.
So that we kind of roll up the update from a code side and make sure that we can kind of launch it in tandem
Yeah.
on PS4 and
Yeah.
PC. I think that would be really great, and
We'd love to do that.
We want to do that for sure.
Maybe not the next event, but the one after that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. I think
Alright.
so.
we should go. We should go
And
fix
we have
the
connection
servers.
problems, so I guess we ought to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go fix the game.
All right. Thanks for watching. There will be a 24-hour alert on after the stream.
As soon as the game's working
As soon as
again.
the game's working.
Yeah.
Of
Yep.
course. And thank you for viewing. We'll see you in 2 weeks with the next dev stream.
Thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for your
Thanks
great
for
sticking with
questions.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
everybody.
Great questions this week.
Yep.
Thanks for answering them.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yay.
And you guys are awesome. And you guys are awesome.
Everyone's awesome. Yeah. Thanks,
Go-
guys.
go team.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.